Hi guys, welcome back. So here in this session I'll explain the key difference between ECC and S4HANA. I'll tell you guys I received multiple inquiry from candidates, and most of the people what they say is, sir, I have to learn SAP FICO and S4HANA both. So what does it mean? It means most of the people are not having understanding that FICO is the name of module, whereas S4HANA is the name of SAP version. Okay. So I thought let me explain this so that you guys will be having perfect clarity on this. When you learn something, you need to know each and everything, guys. Right? This is how you guys will be like quite confident at the time of interview. So let me explain this one first. Okay. So when you talk about ECC and S4 HANA, okay, so these are, see, what is this ECC and S4 HANA, guys? So ECC and S4 HANA, these are the two different versions of SAP. Okay, when you talk about any software, the software will be having multiple versions. SAP is also pretty old software, guys, right? So it is having multiple version. Now I will not go in like history because it was started from R1, right? Real time architecture 1, then it was R2, then it was R3, isn't it? And later on the SAP ECC was there. In ECC also multiple enhancement packages were there, ESP1, ESP2, ESP3, like that. I'll, in a very simple way, I'll just give you your explanations. No need to go in those history, guys, isn't it? It is not needed. Okay. Now, so SAP right now, SAP is having two versions. Okay, ECC and S4HANA. In a very simple way, I'm explaining. I'm not going into details. In a simplest way, I have to explain so that you guys will be having perfect understanding. So ECC is the one version and S4HANA is the another version. S4HANA is the latest one, guys. Okay, ECC became old version, right? So generally what happened, if you talk about SAP, so SAP you have to learn on ECC version or S4HANA version, you have to learn on S4HANA version. Why? Because this is the latest one. We have to learn on this latest version itself. Why to learn on ECC? Because ECC become almost, we can say, outdated, right? So that is the difference. So ECC and S4 HANA, these are the versions of SAP. Now when somebody say I have to learn FICO, I have to learn SD, I have to learn MM, so these are the module, right? In SAP, first of all, you have to be specific that what exactly you have to learn. You have to learn finance module, you have to learn sales and distribution module, you have to learn MM module, right? So that is the first thing. The first question is, when you have to learn SAP, which module you have to learn, right? So, say for example, you decided that yes, I have to learn SAP Finance module, or I have to learn SAP SD module, or I have to learn SAP MM module. Now, the next question is, so when you have to learn this SAP, let's suppose Finance module, then on which version you guys are going to learn, that matters. When you join any institutions, still there are multiple people who is teaching this SAP. Let's suppose if you have to learn finance itself, most of the people, not most of the people, but there are multiple people still they are teaching on ECC version itself. So now ECC means it become old version and S4 HANA is the new version. So of course you have to go for S4 HANA, right? That is the first thing. And again, if you talk about ECC and S4 HANA, uh, of course some differences are there. So those differences you guys will come to know when I start the practical session, right? Right now I'm explaining theoretically here. Okay. So ECC and S4 HANA is the two different version of SAP. ECC is old version, whereas S4 HANA is the new version. Okay. Now look at here, the differences I have specified. So if you talk about ECC, right, I'm talking about database compatible with various database. Okay. ECCs, when you talk about ECC version, okay, so SAP was not having their own database. That's the reason client, can use any database. Here I have quoted the example like they can use Oracle database, they can use DB2 or various other database. Now what is happening when the new version, that is S4 HANA, when the S4 HANA was launched by SAP, then what happened? Look at here, it runs on SAP HANA database. This is the new version of SAP and SAP has introduced their own database, that is HANA database. Okay. So the latest version in the sense S4 HANA is going to run on which database, guys? It is on HANA database. Whereas the old version, client can use any database. So that is the first difference. Second one is when you talk about ECC. So for ECC, SAP GUI. Look at your interface. Now you have to log in. Let's suppose when SAP is implemented in Tata Motor. So Tata Motor employee, they have to log in into SAP to perform their day-to-day activity. So in ECC version, what is happening, guys? We have like traditional interface that is called SAP GUI. It means one application need to be installed. One application, look at here, I'll show you here. This is the application, right? So this application need to be installed. Here we have to add the server and all the details, and then you guys will be able to, and then their employee will be able to log in. So this application, right? This is called GUI, graphic user interface. Whereas in HANA, in S4 HANA, what is happening, guys? In S4 HANA, look at here, SAP Fiori. It means like in S4 HANA, we are having both options, SAP GUI and SAP Fiori, right? SAP Fiori means what? It is web-based, what do you say, this one, login. Web-based login in the sense the way you guys are going to use your Google, right? You Google Chrome, and that you're going to log in to your Gmail or whatever it is, isn't it? So in the same way, so web-based login in the sense by using internet, what happened? You can without any installations, isn't it? SAP Fiori, right? This is a modern interface which is launched by SAP, and with S4 HANA, this is the new functionality which is added. So even like what is happening, we can use SAP GUI, right? Apart from this, we can use SAP Fiori. Without installation of SAP GUI, the end users will be able to log into SAP by using this Fiori application also. Okay, I'll show you practically. No need to worry again for this one also. GUI login also and Fiori login, both login. I'll show you guys how it is happening practically. Okay, so here I'm explaining the differences theoretically. Okay, now so the next difference between ECC and S4 HANA is, look at here, slower. ECC was bit slower compared to S4 HANA. There was a reason here due to the disk-based processing. Disk-based processing, when you store something, disk-based processing, and look at here, it is faster due to in-memory computing. In-memory computing means RAM will come into picture, whereas here what is happening? Traditional hard disk is coming into picture. Okay, so because of that, this SAP ECC is bit slower but S4 HANA is faster, because if SAP has to fetch certain input, that is going to be fetched from RAM itself. Look at here, data is stored and processed directly into main memory, that is RAM of a computer. So that is the differences between ECC and S4 HANA. Okay, now in terms of speed, so S4 HANA is speedy compared to ECC, right? Now then the next difference and major difference between ECC and S4 HANA is, look at here, it is deployment. The ECC deployment will be like on-premise deployment, whereas S4 HANA, SAP has given both options. On-premise deployment will be there, and even cloud option is also given by SAP, right? Now again, there will be a question, and of course there will be a question in your mind, that what is the difference between this on-premise and again cloud. Okay, so I'll just do one thing. Again, I'll explain in a very simplest way, right? So that you guys will be having perfect understanding between the difference between on-premise and cloud. So let me go on the next slide here. Okay, look at here. If we talk about SAP on-premise and SAP cloud, so the first difference is, okay, hosting. So look at here, it is installed and run on the company's own server, whereas now cloud means, SAP cloud means it is hosted on SAP server. See, I'll tell you guys, what is this hosting? Hosting means, let's suppose if you have to construct a building, isn't it? So what is happening? In order to construct the building, you need to have the land, right? You need to have the land. So now what is happening, guys? So look at here. So now hosting means it is installed and run on the company's own server. It means the complete ownership is there with the company itself, client itself. Let's suppose, as I have given the example of Tata Motor. So if Tata Motor has to install this SAP, right? So that is going to be installed and run on their own server. Server ownership belongs to Tata Motor itself. Whereas here what is happening, guys? Hosted on SAP server. So who is owning this server, guys? Who is the owner of this server? SAP is there, right? A common server which is being used. So that's the reason what is happening, guys. The cost will be less compared to this one. That's the reason I have explained everything here in very detailed. So look at here. That is the first thing. Second thing is ownership. Ownership, of course, look at here. The company own and manage the infrastructure and software, right? Tata Motor will, Tata Motor is going to own and manage all the infrastructure and software. So the complete ownership belongs to Tata Motor itself. Whereas here, what is happening, guys, in cloud? So SAP manage everything for you. You in the sense for organizations. This is a shared server, isn't it? So here you are not having the complete ownership, isn't it? Because you don't own the server. Here, what is happening? The server is owned by Tata Motor, isn't it? Let's suppose, I'll tell you guys, let's suppose there is a piece of land and you have bought that land. So that land become that is your land, guys. Even after 100 years, even after 200 years, right? Whoever your uh, like your next generations are there, so the ownership will be passed to those people. In the sense, ultimately you are the owner. Whereas like you have taken a land on lease, so lease will be having some certain what do you say durations will be there. After that, once the lease is expired, the ownership goes to the whoever the real owner is there. Okay, so ownership means here on premise means it is entire ownership will be there in the hand of company, whereas SAP Cloud means SAP is going to manage everything. Now customization. Customization means highly customizable. Highly customizable means, guys, let's suppose there is a report. Okay, there is a report in the sense like standard report or whatever reports are there. Now I'll just do one thing. I will just make it like this. Okay, so there is a report, and here different columns are there, different rows are there, right? Now SAP is saying, or say Tata Motor is saying that just do one thing. I need to add one additional column here, right? I have to add some noise will be there, guys. I think even though my noise cancellation device is there. So if any noise will be there, little bit, kindly manage it. Now, so here generally what happens? So let's suppose the client is saying that I need to add in a standard report. Okay, I need to add one additional column here, isn't it? The requirement raised by Tata Motor. So generally what happened? Look at here, customization. So if it is on premise, right? If it is on premise server, in that case, what is happening? The entire ownership belongs to Tata Motor, right? So and requirement raised by Tata Motor itself. So since they are the owner of this entire server, they can do whatever they want. If they want to customize, of course they can go for customizations, right? If they want to make any changes in the server, of course they can. They are free to do anything because they are the real owner, right? They are the real owners. If they want to change the shape or something of, let's suppose, a particular report, they can do it because they are the real owner. Whereas in SAP Cloud, what is happening, guys? Limited customizations, right? Again, in cloud also we are having two things. Public cloud is there and private cloud is there. So in private cloud, flexibility will be there, but in public cloud, nothing. Public cloud means, let's suppose you are living in what do you say an apartment, right? You're living in an apartment. Let's suppose you are having the ground floor and 30 stories buildings are there. So if you have to make any changes, so you cannot make lots of changes. You like, let's suppose somebody, if you want to like make some kind of customization in your house, so you have to take care of everything because 30 stories buildings are there and lots of people are living in that apartment. So you are having like certain limitations will be there. You can make some small customization, small changes within your room, right? But you cannot make any changes which is having impact on the every people. So that's the reason here limited customizations are there. If let's suppose here Tata Motor says that I need to add additional column in a particular report. So if it is added, the impact will be there on other people also because cloud means shared server is there. Even other companies are also using. If they don't have such kind of requirement, then of course, because they don't want these things. So that's the reason here limited customizations are there, right? In SAP Cloud, whereas in on-premise, since a single owner is there, they can do whatever they want, right? So Customizations means highly customizations, and here it is less customizations, limited customizations. The next one is update. So look at here, guys, what I have specified. It is controlled by customer. It is controlled by customer means who is the customer? Tata Motor. It is controlled by owner, we can say. I think instead of customer, I can say owner. It is controlled by owner. Who is the owner? Tata Motor is the owner. Right? I have quoted the example of Tata Motor. Don't think like why Tata Motor itself, why not other organizations? Of course, you can take example of any other organizations also. Okay. So here it is controlled by the owner, and so it means owner will decide when to upgrade. Let's suppose SAP has launched a new version, whereas who is the owner? Tata Motor. Tata Motor is quite happy with the current version itself. They don't want to upgrade for the whatever the latest version which is released by SAP. That's fine. That is their wishes. Wishes in the sense like they are the owner, isn't it? So in that case, what happened, guys? They will decide when they want to go for this upgradations. It is there in their hand, right? Whereas in cloud, what happened? Automatic and frequent updates by SAP. Quarterly, semi-annually, what happened, guys? Updates will be taking place automatically, right? So update in the sense, generally what happened, as I said, like in the same apartment, multiple people are living. So few people say that I don't want to go for upgradations, whereas other people are saying that no, I have to go for upgradations. Then what will happen? SAP has made the rule that whether you want to go or not, every quarter or every every after 6 months, automatic update will be taking place, isn't it? So cloud means this is a shared server. That's the reason here they are not going to take your permissions. Automatic update will be taking place. But here what is happening? Since this is totally under your control, it is like you are the owner. You in the sense like Tata Motor is the owner. So Tata Motor will decide when to upgrade this. Okay, so hope you guys are able to understand. Cost model. Now, of course, see guys, I'll tell you one thing. On-premise means look at here, 100% control is there in the hand of Tata Motor. Whereas SAP Cloud means less control because it is a shared server. So what about the cost? So of course, on-premise means large cost will be there. Whereas SAP Cloud, it means compared to on-premise, it is having less cost involvement. That's the reason if somebody is having good budget, they can go for on-premise if they want to get to have entire control, right? If any client is having less budget related issues are there, they can go for SAP Cloud, right? So that is compared to on-premise, it is having less cost, right? Involvement of less cost. Now, implementation time. When we have to implement SAP, right? In Tata Motor, Tata Steel, whichever. Okay. So look at here, on-premise. On-premise means what is happening, guys? The implementation time will take more. The reason behind is, see, longer. Implementation time become longer. Why? Because due to infrastructure setup and customizations, different customizations will be there. So even the customization also takes time because Tata Motor will put lots of requirement. I don't want this kind of report. I want this kind of report, right? And various, this screen is appearing, so I want some changes. Can you add one additional field here, right? I don't want this field. I want instead of this, I want that particular field. So based on, so what is happening? It is going to take time. So implementations here on premise server, right? In that case, it is taking time because client will be having lots of requirement. Whereas implementation time for SAP cloud, generally what happen? It is faster, especially with pre-configured solutions. Pre-configured solutions means what is happening, guys? Lots of pre-configured things are there. Isn't pre-configured things are there. So you cannot say that no, I am not going to accept. Simply they will say that, sir, these are the things. If you want, you have to go for this one itself, right? So if you have any problem, you have to go for on-premise, where like you will be having in the sense companies are having the total control, and whatever they want, they can go for whichever kind of customizations they want. It is possible. But on cloud, what is happening? Lots of standard things are there because multiple clients are using the same server. Shared server is there, right? So that's the reason here what is happening here, like very less customizations are there. And where the less customizations are there, it means very soon the implementations will be completed. Since here more customizations will be taking place, and that's the reason the implementations time is going to be, it is time taking, right? It is going to be longer. Okay. When you talk about the security, so look at here, security and control. So handled by internal IT team, of course. So again, that in the sense like, see, if you talk about on-premise, so of course it is going to be handled by internal IT team. Tata Motor has to hire an IT team for that, which is who is going to take care of this entire things. But here on SAP Cloud means it is going to be handled by SAP, right? So you, in the sense Tata Motor, first of all, what is happening? They don't need to, they're not required to, maintain any infrastructure. They're not required to maintain any IT team for that. Entire headache will be like, these all things will be managed by SAP itself. That's the reason I said like cost model. So here less cost, sorry, here more cost will be there. Whereas here in cloud means less cost will be there compared to this one on premise. Okay. And flexibility. So again, control I said, so here I have written, so more control over system and higher maintenance will be there. Control means 100% it is there in your control itself. You are having, like, you have purchased your own land, you constructed a building. Now later on, if you want to add another, like, another, what do you say, this one, like, if you want to make it 3 stories building, 5 stories building, that is totally, it is under your control. It is your decision. You have constructed one, like, let's suppose 2 stories building, and later on, if you want to demolish entire, you can do it because you are the ultimate owner, right? But whereas if somewhere like shared things are there, shared apartment is there, if you're saying that I want to demolish my entire, what to say, whatever my floor is there, is it possible? No, it is not possible. How can you do this? Because other people are also living in the same apartment, and that too different, because 30 stories buildings are there, right? So that's the reason here control means 100% control will be there, right, in the hand of Tata Motor on premise. But cloud means less control will be there over backend. Okay, so that is the difference between on premise and cloud. And I think now you guys will be having idea what is the exact difference between on premise and cloud. Okay, so that's all in this session, guys.